So today, guys, we have Stevo Smith from Smithy's Shine Shop. That's a bit of a tongue twister trying to say that. Smithy's Shine Shop. I've got to be, yeah, you could do one of these gigs, couldn't you? Like, say it fast and see how well you do with saying it. And with my co-host, Adam. This is totally detailed. Steve, introduce yourself to myself and Adam today in the public.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Richard. It's basically Steve Smith. I'm 49, nearly 50. I had a great passion for cleaning cars ever since I was a young kid, to be honest with you. So I've got a lovely partner that supports me quite well in obviously working mostly 7 days a week. It's quite patient with me. I've got 5 girls and 3 grandkids. So it's always nice to spend time with the family when you can as well.
Definitely. And obviously,
five daughters, was that?
It was indeed.
Oh, there's no wonder you're grey.
Yeah, mate, grey. I had to cut it off. Yeah, the eldest one was 30 yesterday. So yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Amazing.
Time
flies.
It does indeed. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Go on, Adam. What was that?
I never said anything.
All right. Nobody did.
I think it's quite self-explanatory. But how did the shop name come up then?
Obviously, last name Smithy. Always been called Smithy ever since I was a kid. Obviously, it's just one of them things. My brothers and sisters has all called it through school, so it just seemed something to catch the public. Obviously, as a shine shop as well. So, just seemed like the way to go rather than detailing or anything else in that. I just thought it would just give people something more to aim at, really. I mean, detailing's great. You know what I mean? It really is Smithy's detailing and things like that. But there's so many people using that as a catch to get people in. It's one of them, really, to be honest with you. So I just thought Smithy's Shine Shop, it's just one of them. Just came.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's I like it actually, because I mean, as you say, there's a lot of people using the term detailing, which obviously they're not really detailers as well, and it's having the Smithy's Shine Shop. It's actually quite cool, really, because it's very American, isn't it, as well? So it's, you may say it's not, but
I understand where you're coming from, but it's sort of like, I didn't want people to think that. I mean, if some people say detailing, it can scare a lot of people away.
Yes.
I mean, it's sort of, a lot of people when they ring up or inquire about certain things and it's classed as detailing, then they automatically think the price is going to go through the roof. You see,
through the roof. Yeah.
It is one of them things.
Yeah, true. So obviously, you've given us an introduction to yourself and Smithy's Shine Shop. How long have you been valeting, or how long have you been Smithy's Shine Shop?
Wow, I've been valeting. I'm nearly 50 in December. And I've probably been valeting cars since I was about 8, 9.
Yeah.
My father used to own quite a lot of vehicles back in the day, and he was from a gypsy background, and he used to buy and sell cars quite regularly. And it was my sort of, how can I put it, chore. It was back in the day a chore of a Saturday to clean the vehicles, fleet vehicles. Obviously, he used to have 2 or 3 cars, 2 vans, and a Bedford old TK truck as well, which used to get a wash.
Lovely.
But you know what I mean? But obviously, back in the day, then it was more of I just want to go out with my mates type of thing. And I suppose it put a lot into me. That sort of instilled it into me to be able to clean cars. But like when you're a kid, sort of take it on as like a dream. You just get like experience from it, do you know what I mean? And obviously I used to get to do my friends' dad's cars and my uncle's cars when they used to pop round, and it was like, he'll do your car for you, do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, I'll go and do it then. But it was one of them, yes. Like since I've been about, I'd say 10, since about 10, I've been doing cars.
And now the queuing up.
Well, I do work 7 days a week, so yeah, it's I wish I had more hands like an octopus, I think sometimes.
It keeps you busy, doesn't it?
It does indeed, man. It keeps me out of trouble as well, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So how long have you had the business for then?
Smithy's Shine Shop's probably been going for around about 4 years, I suppose. I've been valeting cars for a long time, but I was talking to a friend one day, and he became a very close friend actually through me watching him valet online. Such an amazing guy. And I was talking to him one day, and he says, "Well, you're just as good as me. Why don't you just set up your page and start doing things like that?" And I thought, "No, I can't do that. No, I'm not that good." You know what I mean? And obviously I did. And then obviously people just started booking in, and people word of mouth really, and people of my friends and my cousins' friends and everything. I'm getting people knocking the door when I'm even cleaning cars to clean their cars, and I'm like, it's a bit tight at the moment. I've already got 3 cars booked in for today and things like this, but I'm pretty booked up for about 3 or 4 weeks in advance at the moment, so it's good.
Oh, that's good. No, it's a good amount.
Good.
I hate booking anything over like a month because to me it's like customers aren't willing to wait that long. You've got chance for a competitor to take that business away. So no, 4 weeks it's a nice amount. It's one of them. It's a comfortable amount without being too long.
Well, the thing is, if you tell somebody it's 6 weeks, most people will try and find somewhere else quicker. And also, if you do tell somebody, you've got a 4-week wait, and you price that car up at that time, they're not going to clean that car in 4 weeks.
No.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you've got like the price you've already quoted on the vehicle, plus another 4 weeks of dirt to get out of that car type of thing, because they're not going to clean it. It's impossible. They just think, it's
definitely not
amount of money, and in 4 weeks' time, it'll be the same amount of money.
Well, yeah. Are you shop based then?
Hey, very true.
I'm actually home based. I actually work from home.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, it's great. It is actually, because I've got everything I need here. And obviously, it's just one of them things. Everything, the customer drops the car off to myself. And obviously, I work on the car for as long as it needs to be. And then obviously, I'll ring the customer and they come and collect it. It's great.
Brilliant.
It works well for me, to be honest with you. It really does.
Yeah.
So I've got no neighbours that are a problem and things like that. So it just basically, I've got quite a big drive. I can fit about 7 or 8 cars on the drive if need be. And it works quite well, to be honest. So I'm quite happy.
When I first started it, mine was from home, and I would we've had this chat before, Richard, that about buying a house with a unit big enough on the land.
Yeah.
And for what I pay in rent for the unit and then my mortgage, you get something pretty decent wise. But
you can.
Do you find it's quite difficult to break away from work though? Because I go home and fair enough, my phone's always on, but I shut that door and that's kind of like my work done. But you're at home,
you never get away from it. I'll be honest with you. And it's like I said, I've had people knock my door at 10 at night. Are you the guy that valets the cars? I'm like, yes. Any chance you could, have a look at my car and book it in? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I can. You can't say no, and you can't turn people away. Do you know what I mean? But it is like you said, it's different to clocking out from a business and going home. Like you said, your phone's always on. And obviously my phone's always on. I'm always getting messages through Messenger and obviously EMA, things like that as well. But yeah, obviously people knock your door, and it is one of them. You can't turn business away.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
There's nothing.
I think we had it
worse.
talking about trying to get away. I think we had it last night with we've obviously got various messaging platforms where people can contact us, and obviously I'm not going to say which platform it was on, but I think it was at 1:15 this morning. Someone in England, so it's not like they were overseas, and they were getting rather agitated because they'd sent a message, I think, at about 1:55, and they were like, "Excuse me, but why are you not replying? I need help and I need it now." Obviously, we're clearly asleep. So, it's like, I understand where you're coming from. It's like, my business used to be at home, and we had to move at the point where, because it was many, many years ago, we used to import mother's products into the UK. And obviously we were sort of like working from initially like a little shed that was 6x6 that went into a 6x12, and that then went into another shed in the garden, then another shed and another shed and then a bigger shed, and then all of a sudden I'm in the conservatory and it's like, get out. It's like, okay, I think that's enough. But then when you got an Arctic truck turning up and they're offloading 20 pallets of mother's wax, and your neighbours are looking at you, and it's like, we're in a very close sort of knit community here, and we literally filled the road, and then the delivery driver decides one day to drop a bloody pallet all over the road. And it's like, I think we need to get a factory unit. This is getting a bit too much. So yeah, that was when we got our first factory unit. It was quite some. Well, I mean, we had a factory unit before that, and then we gave it up, thinking we could do it from home. But nah, not a cat and mouse chance. No. And you just never away. People were coming and knocking on the door, and we had people turning up from like West Yorkshire and stuff like that, and you know, and further afield, and just knocking on the door at 5 o'clock at night. It's like, can you repair my jacket? It's like, oh my God, guys, do you not realise? You know, you've driven 3-4 hours to get to me, and it's like 5-6 o'clock at night. It's trying to get that life balance is difficult, isn't it?
Oh, it is extremely difficult. Like I said, I've got quite an understanding partner, really, to be fair. But obviously, I really do hate to let people down as well. You know what I mean? Like as any business owner would. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, you can sort of turn one person down, and then that person can tell another person, and then before you know it, you might have lost 3 or 4 customers through that one person. And it
exactly,
is I mean, it is difficult to say no at certain points, I suppose.
Definitely. And I mean, it's like, I mean, Adam and I spoke about.
Maybe I'm just too soft on people. That's what it is. Maybe I'm just too soft.
Hey, you never know. I know, because Adam and I've spoke about this in the past about, you know, sort of the sort of working life balance between work and home and stuff. And, you know, we've looked at a building. I mean, I looked at one recently, and it was what I'm paying on sort of mortgage where I am and the rent on the factory. And this property was up, I think it's nearly 800,000. It was still cheaper for me to buy that property than pay my mortgage and my rent. Yeah, believe it or not. And it was just like, but it's just, obviously my wages doesn't substantiate getting that mortgage, so it's never going to happen, because it's, but it, you know, it's getting it commercially. It probably would happen if we went down that route. And it's like, it's a huge step there, because we got set up at the factory, and we've built, you know, we built second floors in there and stuff. And it's like, it's a huge thing to sort of obviously take all that out to move. And it's like the whole business is going to have to be shut down for probably a whole month while we do that, you know, which is going to cost the company mega thousands to do that while we shut down. And it's like, you got to weigh up the cost of whether it's worth it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, if you don't do that, are you stopping yourself from progressing?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you have to sort of sit it down, think about that, and then obviously, I understand where you say you're going to be tight for a while, because obviously things will be not running as smooth as they should be. But obviously, if you outgrow yourself, then you've got no choice. You've got to go.
No. When you outgrow yourself, no, you've definitely got no choice. Unfortunately, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So so I mean, you've spoken about that, haven't you, Adam? Anyway.
Yeah, it is a thought, but at the same time, it's that I can go home. If I am working from home, then you kind of get involved in home life at the same time, don't you? And I'm sure you've had it where, you know, you've been working on cars and the missus has come out and, can you just do this for me? And
can you just pop around here or do this? And so, we've all had it, like you said. But like you said, if you could clock out, lock up and go home, and then obviously your 2 separate lives are separate lives, that's great, I suppose. Yeah. It would be an ideal in the future. Do you know what I mean, to get somewhere with a big enough unit to maybe get 3 or 4 cars in at a time, and obviously work on them cars on a daily basis. Yeah, that'd be great. That would be really good, great. But it's obviously building that customer base up. And I know I've got like I said, maybe a month's advance customers at the moment, but you got to keep that sustainable. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, with the economy at the moment, you never know what's happening at this present moment in time again. So it's just play it safe at the moment at home, because I know where I am, type of thing.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Sorry, Rich, was cut you off then, but
no, that's right. Go on.
It's that, you know how much you need to make to pay your rent, your mortgage, sort of thing.
Yep.
And then to go and add a unit on top of that, you've got to make that £600-700.
Exactly.
And then everything else that goes with it, like your setup fees are never ending. It is a big step.
Another electric bill, another water bill, everything else. Do you know what I mean? So, and it is one of them. Yeah, but like that would be a great thing in the future, obviously. And I should imagine everybody dreams that when they start out small, to sort of get that under the belt and get that name above the shop. You know what I mean? It'd be really nice.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you'll get there if that's your your dream sort of thing. If you're saying you're 4 weeks booked out, that's you're on the right path.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like I said, it's sustaining that, isn't it? Really, do you know what I mean? And obviously, you have good months and bad months, especially like winter times and things like that, where somebody doesn't want the car cleaned and drive it back home, and it's in the same state that they got to you in. Do you know what I mean? And it is difficult like that, to be fair. But it's like I said, it's coming. It's coming.
So does everybody sort of come to you, or do you go out to them? Do you do it mobile or not at all? It's just all to you at home?
99% of my customers come to me, Richard, I'll be honest with you. There's very few occasions where I have been out to customers. One of them was a massive, great big 40-ton trailer with an Arctic attached to it. And he wanted that all detailing inside, so it was very difficult for him to get that on my drive, I'll be honest. Another one was a guy that bought a vehicle and he hadn't passed his test yet. So I went out there and detailed his vehicle for him, and from that, then obviously he went on to pass his test and drive that car. And so it was good. But yeah, it's 99.9% of my customers do just come to me, like so.
Good. Are you a bit of a car guy, Steve, or is it?
I like to think I'm a bit of a car guy. Do you know what I mean? I do. Yeah, I think we all, as like young lads, I suppose, 50. Yeah, I've been around for a while. So yeah, I do class myself as a bit of a car enthusiast. You know, to be honest. Yeah, I do like cars, and I've always liked cars since I was a kid. I've been driving since I was about 8. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like one of them. I think it's in your blood. It's either in your blood or it isn't.
Or it isn't, It's either that or motorbikes, isn't it? So I'm not a motorbike fan. I mean, I like motorbikes, but I won't ride them. But I prefer, I definitely prefer cars. But I mean, there are some stunning bikes out there, but I wouldn't ride them myself.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're either a bike or a car person. It's very different to like sort of love both. I think it's the same with cats or dogs. You're either a cat person or a dog person. It's very
I'm a dog person. Yeah, cats are vicious if you ask me.
Yeah, cats are weird, man. Cats are strange. I'll be honest with you. It's like I've always been a car person. My big brother used to be into bikes when he was like younger, and I used to be on the back of the bikes, and it was like it never sort of floated me really as much as a car does. To be fair. Yeah, car person all day.
Good. It's not bad. Adam's American.
Yeah, anything American, definitely. I'm all over it, apart from Mustangs.
Oh, mate. And me. I mean, this is going back when I was a kid. I mean, my brother used to have a Dodge Charger.
Okay.
Oh, no, honestly. But it was a Chrysler Charger. It was the Australian version, so it was a right-hand drive. That was a beast. I wished I still had that car today. It was phenomenal, honestly. What a beautiful car. Yeah. And even if I won the lottery, I think that's one of my ideal cars I would go and purchase, a Dodge Charger.
A friend of mine, it was his absolute dream to own a Dodge Charger, right? He saved up for he had other cars. He was like, just taking, bit by bit, slowly getting there. Anyway, he goes out and he dreamed about this Dodge Charger all his life. I ain't kidding, like it was all his life. Posters on his wall as a bedroom and all that. And he went out and bought this Dodge Charger. He sold it 2 weeks later. He said every time he went out and it was like a workout. He said you came home, my arms were killing and there was no ABS, there was no power steering. And that dream for probably 40 years sort of thing, crushed in 2 weeks.
Ruined in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Now he's
I think I'd rather just put it in the garage and just look at it, though. I couldn't sell it. I wouldn't be able to do that.
You can't just sit on them, though. No, they're made to drive.
Oh, yeah, they are meant to drive. But if that's a lifelong dream of a car and it's sort of, I don't know, you are unhappy driving it, I think I'd just have to sit there and look at it because it's just a nice car to look at anyway, to be fair.
That's what I do with mine. It just sits in the garage at home. I do drive it now and then, but I think I've done 500 miles in the last year. But it's always been a lifetime dream to have the car that I've got, and it just sits in the garage. And I go out and start it sometimes at maybe 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And sorry, neighbours, wake them all up because it's rather loud. And it's just listening to that purr, and I just sit there and it's like, I'm in heaven. It's just lovely.
Exactly. Well, that's what you work for, isn't it? That's what you've worked hard to do.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a nice car as well.
I finished with that. I jump on my push bike, one of them that I've always wanted all my life. Again, it's a very nice bike, and I go toddling off and do 70 miles around the countryside on a push bike and let out adrenaline that way as well. So yeah, it's great. Enjoy it.
70 miles.
Yeah, I do 70 miles. Yeah.
On a push bike.
Yeah.
No.
Is it electric?
Yeah, averaging 15 mile an hour.
Is it electric?
No. No, standard push bike.
It didn't need to be electric. To make it 70 miles on it, I'll be honest.
I keep trying to tell the wife, she needs to come out, and she's like, not even electric. I ain't getting out on a bike.
Yeah, I'm all up for bikes, but pedaling 70 miles, I'd be crippled.
It's actually quite easy once you've started. It's just, I go out on my own, so it makes it a bit difficult because I've got nobody else to sort of push me or for them, or for me to push them. So I think people must think I'm the loony bicycle rider because I'm going around the countryside shouting at myself, trying to psych myself up to get myself motivation. Going. Yeah, it's getting motivation. It's like, go on, boy, keep going, go on, lad. And it's just getting me motivation. I think people must think I'm a fruitcake because they're looking at me thinking, what the hell's that idiot doing? But it's great. 15 mile
an hour by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. I nearly overtook a moped the other week.
Oh, dear,
he was going, I think he was doing about 20, and I think I'd got up to, I think he was maybe doing 25, and I got up to, I think, 23 or something like that. And I'd nearly overtaken the moped. That would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it?
That would have been embarrassing, to be honest with you. Crazy.
Yeah, for him, not me. So, right, what have we got here? Wax. What's the best wax in your opinion? Obviously, what you've used. What would you say is the best wax, or a wax, your dream wax that you would like to buy to use on a client's car?
Wow. I mean, there's thousands. There's thousands out there to choose from. You know there is. And I think detailing and valeting is very much like any hobby as you start out with. It all depends on how deep your pockets are as well, Richard. You know, because you can start off any hobby and go into it, you know, buying this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, this stuff's great as well. So then you can progress, and it's a bit like I said, any other hobby. You can be into RC cars, and you can buy an RC car for 30, 40, 50 quid, but then you can buy an RC car that's thousands. So it all depends on how far that you really want to go into that hobby or that passion. And just because it's £1,000 wax, it doesn't mean it's the best on the market in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? That wax could be overhyped, and a lot of people out there will buy certain products. Obviously, no names mentioned, but there'll be people out there that will buy products, and then there'll be posts on certain websites slating that product because it hasn't worked as well for them as it has for somebody else. But then a lot of people in the so-called detailing business or valeting or whatever, they'll do this, and if they don't proper prep the car, they're not going to get the desired results that they need, and they'll always blame the product and the failure of the product, but it's really them that's failing the product by not using it properly. Do you know what I'm coming from? You know what I mean? So it's all to do with the prep, really. Do you know what I mean? It's all to do with the prep. And I mean, there's waxes out there for 30 quid that will give you a good protection, and then there's waxes out there for hundreds and hundreds of pounds that will give you a protection, maybe a little bit longevity. It all depends on what you're doing with your car, how much you're using the car. If it's parked in the garage like yourself, you know what I mean? Your car, you know, you could add a wax to your car, and it could give both 3 months protection, but it'll be on there for 3 years because you only use the car once a week. Do you know what I mean? Type of thing, or things like that. So I mean, there's waxes out there that I do like to use. Obviously, I mean, I use obviously Fuso. I mean, that's quite a big wax out there. You know, Soft 99's a nice wax. I've used Waterbright's Ballads. That's a ceramic wax, and that's a really nice wax to use as well. I mean, a 140 gram pot of that will do 40 cars. So you know, for the price of what the wax cost you, it's pennies to apply to a vehicle. You know, 2 coats of that will last you a long time, 10 months. You know, and you need to top it up. You can do that with a ceramic spray that they use and things like that. But like, there's so many different products out there, Richard. Like, you know, it's all depending on what you prefer to use, to be honest with you, and what you are comfortable using.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was one of the first Zymel authorised detailers in the UK when obviously Zymel was at its sort of peak almost. I mean, I've got some of the waxes still now, and I mean, Christ, I must have had them 15 or more years. And I think I've got some of them that are nearly £3,000, you know, and I've still got them because obviously you use them very, very sparingly.
Of course you do.
And I mean, they are fantastic waxes. I mean, it's like, I know I've got a Lantique and stuff like that, and it's, you know, they are great waxes. And I mean, I love them. But you know, I do like the wax, I must admit. I mean, I'm sure more things out there today that are probably far more advanced, you know, than what those are. I'm not really sure where Zymel's gone with its advancement in the industry, because I've not really sort of bought any in the last sort of 10 years. You know, I've been sort of doing other things because other things have come into the market, like your ceramics and everything else.
Graphene,
you know,
everything else
sort of
moving forward.
Yeah, all your graphene now, and all your sort of, you know, all your sealants and things which last quite some time. So it's almost sort of, that's from a detailer sort of point of view, almost become like a non-essential item, because you're sort of doing more coatings. It's, yes, we still do waxes, and obviously there's still a market out there because companies that produce the ceramics produce waxes, and they always will do, because there's always going to be the man on the street or the lady on the street that wants to keep their car, that loves to polish it every few weeks or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's,
I totally agree.
I like doing that, to be fair. Even though my car's got a ceramic on it, I still polish that ceramic coating, because I just like to do it, because it's just me. I like to polish a car.
It's satisfying, you know, to get your car at the garage and, you know, give it a good go over. And it's one of them. It's like, you know, you've stand back and you've done your car for 2 or 3 hours, and, you know, you're proud of it. You know, it's nice to do that. It is nice.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Do you have a favourite wax, Adam? Never really asked you that one.
I was just about to say, I was going to ask the question: do you actually still wax customers' cars? Because I hate waxing cars. I find for how long it takes, we can do something just as quicker that lasts longer with like a even like I dare say, if I really set two on it, I could put a ceramic coating on, forgetting all the prep side of things, just applying the coating compared to a wax. I dare say I could do a full car coating by the time you've done a wax and taken it off, and then gone back 20 minutes later to find all the bits you've missed, sort of thing. I just, to me, I just don't think there's not in my industry,
a major call for it now.
Yeah, there's just no call for it. Yeah, no one's walked in yet and gone, I just want a wax. Did you find you're doing many waxes then, Steve, or is it mainly sealants and coatings?
Like you said now, I think you're going to get better with a sealant nowadays, because it's, I wouldn't say lazy, but it's quicker. And obviously, some sealants now you can apply for a snow foam lance, or give you 3 months protection. Do you know what I mean? And it's like them things that is like such a quick, easy on and off, quick spray on, quick spray off. It's quite durable. And I mean, I obviously coated my vehicle with one last week, and I've washed it again Sunday, my own vehicle. And after the initial rinse, my pre-wash and my snow foam, I didn't really think that I needed to contact wash it, to be honest with you. And I was like, wow, that's quite good stuff, to be honest with you. And for what I paid for it, I'm quite shocked, because the product works really, really well. Yeah. And like you said, it's very, very rare you'll get somebody that comes up and say, I want you to hard wax my car. And nowadays you can offer certain things to customers, and obviously, they can obviously like that, or they can obviously go for a different option. But in all fairness, like you said, Adam, it's quicker now to add a sealant than it is to do that by hand. And obviously you need the right conditions, you know, obviously moisture wise, heat, sun, panel, heat, everything like that comes into play. And with other sealants and that sort of takes a lot of that out of the equation, to be fair.
Yeah. I think as well, you can get like, you know what it's like on certain waxes where you can get on the plastics and you've got an issue. With a sealant, you haven't really got that worry.
No, you haven't. It's just you could put it on blind, you know what I mean, and still not make a mistake. You know what I mean? You really could. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You haven't got to be so careful. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So in your business, are you doing paint correction?
Yeah, I'll do paint correction. In all fairness, Adam, I'll do pretty much anything that a customer requires, really, to sort of get their car back up to the standard that they really want, to be honest with you.
Anything?
Well, you know what? There is obviously some lines, you know what I mean? But it's all of them things, obviously repainting and things like that. And
very
things
broad
like that.
Term, though, when you say I'll do anything.
It is, I suppose, yeah, but it's like, you know what I mean? But no, yeah, exactly. But like, you know, detailing wise and valeting wise and things like that, yeah, you know, I do try and get the extra mile from my customers, to be honest with you, because, you know, I know a lot of people will only wash and valet a car on the outside, detail a car on the outside, and they don't like to touch the interior of a vehicle. Now, I'm still at that stage where I love to tackle a dirty interior. I know it sounds really sad, but I really do, because I love the turnaround when that customer turns up and they go, I can't believe this is the same vehicle. And it really is. It's satisfying for me to be able to know that I've turned that car into something that they're proud of.
Yeah.
It's that transformation, isn't it? It's going from a minger to a blinger.
It is.
You know,
it is. And I feel like, and this is no disrespect to anybody out there, obviously, because there's a lot of people out there that are fantastic at what they do. But I think they get to a certain point in the ladder and they don't like to do them jobs anymore, because it's like, it may take 3 hours to do an interior. And like Adam says, he could do, a coating on a vehicle and take that coating off in that time and probably charge more for that than you could do doing the interior. And I think a lot of people get to that stage where they just don't like to mess with dirty jobs anymore. They just like to leave it to the others.
Yeah, you get like the guys that like clean cars sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they do. I mean, I've seen it on many posts. I've just put a brand new coating on this car at the showroom. Okay. Do you know what I mean? But like, it doesn't take.
If you just checked my Instagram.
I'm sorry, but I just checked it as I did. No, but you know what I mean, Adam? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, like, we don't turn away any business. We do everything from the really mucky stuff to brand new stuff. And people turning stuff down, then it's up to them, I suppose, if it's working for them.
It is. But I mean, like you said, it's more business for other people. But I just think some people get to that stage and think, I ain't going back to spending 3 hours on an interior. I'd rather coat the outside of a car in less time for more money. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, I do. I just feel like never forget where you come from, because that started paying your bills at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It certainly does. Yeah, you never forget where you come from.
Everybody started at that stage. Everybody started there.
Good stuff. So, obviously, your machine polishing, do you have a particular brand you like to use?
Yeah, I do like to use the Rupees, to be fair. The Bigfoot's quite a nice machine, it's a well-trusted machine, to be fair. So, and it hasn't let me down yet, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's a good machine, and they're a good brand, and they do a good range of materials as well, to be honest with you.
Do you use the Rupes system then? So you use the pad and the polishes, or is it just the machines?
No, I don't use the polishes and the pads. Sometimes I'll use other pads and other polishes, depending on what vehicle it is. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, depending on the paint and the hardness, and obviously what needs to be done as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's not many people that seem to follow the Rupes system. I mean, I really like the yellow pads. The yellow pads, but overall,
I think a lot of people use Lake County pads and things like that, and that a lot of people use Lake County stuff and things like that. But it all depends on, obviously, sometimes what you can get hold of at the time as well, to be fair. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, I'll use a Rupees machine, and obviously some of the different compounds and polishes, to be fair, and things like that. Yeah. Depending on what the vehicle is, really, and what it needs to be done.
And is there a, because I've got a little bugbear, is there a certain car that you don't want to be machine polishing, like a certain manufacturer?
I hate minis, and I hate like German paint minis. Okay. Minis, oh man, they're horrible, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? It's just too many curves and too many fiddly bits around minis, and oh no, they're just a nightmare.
I suppose that's very similar to man's BMWs. Polishing BMWs I hate, which
imagine black BMWs.
Oh. Yeah. And imagine the paint. I've never actually polished a Mini, not a new one, but I imagine the paint being BMW owned, probably quite similar.
Yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it.
There's a lot of little curves and bends and dips and grooves and all sorts on them Minis.
Oh, exactly. All round the headlights.
I've never machined one myself, but
well, next time you get to look around a Mini, just have a look and just think of the nightmare that it could be.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I think they would be. It's I've never machined one, but I've washed one, but it's even when you're washing it, it's like, Christ, how many bends and curves has this car got? It's crazy.
The interiors are just as bad. There's so many little nooks and crannies where all the plastic click together and the buttons and switches, and it's like, oh dear, not good.
Especially when you're trying to try doing a leather repair on the seats. Then when you've got a black seat, and you look into the perforation, and in the perforation, they're white.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes you'll get a black seat with red perforation. try doing a repair on a black seat, and then trying to get the red back in the perforation.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. It's not going to happen. It's very simple.
That's why we know. That's why we know people like you, Richard. You see, that's why we know people.
Yeah, but don't send them my way, please. Yeah, no, I don't want them. So yeah, they're not easy ones to repair. Yeah, trust me, not easy at all. It's bad enough having perforation as it is anyway, especially when you maybe got a kid that's thrown up in the car and it's all gone in the perforation. And it's like, oh Christ, how the hell are we going to get that out? And it's amazing how many people struggle to get that out. And I had it once. I remember a job. We went from Hull, and we went to just north of London. So you can imagine the drive. It's like, I think it's about 4-hour drive roughly with stopping, with a lunch break. And we got there, and I think it was within 40 seconds, I'd got all this sick out of the perforation.
Perforations.
Yeah. And this had been to 2 valeters and back to the car dealership. None of them could resolve it or get it out. I got there, sprayed a little bit of leather cleaner on it, gave it a little bit of an agitation with a brush, got an airline and a hoover, and out it came. Literally 40 seconds.
And that was it.
I said, yeah, the woman came out. I knocked on the door. Well, Carolyn knocked on the door, and she's like, yes, can I help? Like, it's all done. You've not even been here a minute. Yeah, it's done. What the hell did you do? How the hell did you do it? 3 people tried this.
And they still couldn't do it.
That's what we're here for. And we've driven all that way for 45 seconds work.
Yeah, but that's the knowledge they've paid for.
Of course it is. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's the knowledge, you see, that you've earned over them many years by learning to do that.
That's it. And it's just, good quality hoover, and a good airline with a with a correct attachment on the end that can get the air quite forceful going in, and the hoover, hey presto, we were done. And it's just that knowledge, isn't it, that you build up over the years of doing certain things. And it's like going back to the waxes that Adam was talking about, and he doesn't obviously like to wax the cars and prefers to ceramic coat them. I mean, I do like ceramic coating cars, and waxing is, putting it bluntly, bloody hard work. And it's some waxes are okay for you, but they wouldn't be okay for me. And you can probably get a shine from a certain wax that I probably couldn't get. Do you know what I mean? And it's getting that product, what works for one doesn't work for the other. And I mean, I think Adam will agree with that one. I mean, some people can say, oh, this ceramic's absolutely brilliant, and we're like, really? We didn't think so. And it's not because you prep the car differently. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just certain things react differently with certain people as well, and it's maybe just a slightly different level of experience they've got.
And some people, I think, jump on a bandwagon, you say, as well, to be honest, because they see somebody out there that's quite good at what they do, and they'll use a product, and then, well, if he uses that product, then it's got to be good. So I'll use that product. Do you know what I mean, Richard? And it seems like that's how it does, really, and that's how it happens.
Yeah. There's a reason they give free products to these people.
Oh yeah, of course there is, 100%.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it boils down to. It is.
But I think you can get the opposite as well. Where, you can get the opposite where people jump on the negative bandwagon. So it's, someone mentions, I won't say any names here, but someone names a brand, and all of a sudden it's absolutely rubbish. And if you actually went and asked these people, you got 200 people commenting how rubbish it was. They've never used it, sort of thing.
No, they've probably never used it. That's what I mean. But it's like I said, it is one of them, and you're people that you'll get a certain person that will stick to one brand, and it'll be like, no, I'm sorry, but no. There's not one company out there that I can possibly say that every one of their products is 100%. Because I will use certain things off one product, and I'll use certain things off another product. Do you know what I mean? Off different companies. And I think you have to do that. I think you definitely have to do that.
Yeah, you've got to definitely shop around. I mean, I wouldn't for 1 minute think that we've got a product that is, yes, we've got some good products, but I wouldn't say that. I mean, hand on heart, quite honestly, I'm sure we haven't got something that's 100% in everything that we do. And I think if somebody told me that, I think I'd be shocked, in all fairness, because I would be like, really? It's, from what I hear from things that people use. It's difficult to sort of say it, but it's I'm sure there are products out there on some of the products that we do. I mean, which I know there is. I mean, which is why we're at the moment, we like say convertible roof dyes. We've got like a canvas dye, and I know there's other products out there that are far better than ours. And we always tell people that when they bring it, and they're like, okay, I like your honesty. So you don't want to sell me it? Not really, no, because it's more suitable for canvas rather than a convertible roof. It's the canvas type of convertible, not a standard sort of mohair type convertible. So it's, and there are better products out there than what that one is. You just got to be honest about it, and you get the respect.
But you're always looking to innovate them things and move on.
Absolutely, of course you are. Yeah.
But obviously, like you said, at least you're honest with the customer, and I think the customer would rather respect that than you sell them a product that's just. And then they're going to be all over the internet slating that product, and then it's like, that's a bad game to start with, isn't it? But obviously, at least you're honest with your customers.
Well, yeah, and it's like Adam just said, you're on the negative bandwagon, aren't you? Then. Yeah,
exactly.
And then you've got those that have never even tried it that are like, yeah, that's absolutely garbage, and it's like, have you tried it? No. How do you know it's garbage? Because he says so. And you see that so often.
Yeah. Oh, of course you do, yeah. You see it a lot on sites. You do see that a lot on sites, that like you'll get a certain admin or whatever else on certain multimedia sites or whatever you want to call them, social media sites. And because they're admin of a certain group or a detailing group or page or whatever, that you'll get them to say something, and it's everybody follows them like sheep. Do you know what I mean? And it's really not the case, to be honest with you. Like you say, 90% of them people have probably never tried them products, or some of them have probably never heard of them before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very true. Very true.
Is there a particular job you do like to do, Steve? Like the one where it comes in, you're like, oh, can't wait for that to come in on Wednesday, sort of thing?
I am a bit of a sucker, I'll be honest with you, for a bit of a dirty interior, Adam, I'll be honest. I am, honestly, I really am. I know it sounds pretty bad, but yeah, I do love doing a rough interior, honestly. Whether it is leather seats, cloth, carpets, you name it. I like turning that car back around so that customer comes and goes, wow, I can't believe that you've done that. I really can't. But I had a lady approach me once, and she approached me through my page, and I said, listen, can you just do me a favour? Can you just send me a few pictures of the interior, please? I mean, obviously, you know yourself, the outside is pretty much the same sort of system. The interior is obviously what's going to take my time. So I asked her to send me some pictures, and lo and behold, she sent me these pictures of this Mini Clubman, new shape. And I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll give this lady a price. And she was happy with the price. And a couple of weeks later, she went, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel. Something's really emergency's popped up. Can I rebook? I was like, yeah, no problem at all. So anyway, lady booked in, no problem at all. A message me the day before, is it still okay to bring the vehicle? Yeah, no problem, fantastic. Turns the vehicle up. I opened the door and I nearly died, honestly. The car, from the time she messaged me in the first instance, from the time she brought the car down, she'd been up the farm in it. Horses.
Oh, God.
You name it. Honestly, there was no plastic in that car of 1 inch that wasn't covered in mud, horse crap, horse hair, hay, you name it, it was in that car, honestly. And I'll be honest with you, I lost money that day. I really did. It took me a long time to do that car, to bring it back to what it should be. And I lost money that day. But you know what? It's one of them. It's one of them. The car ended up really nice. The lady was really happy. And I was happy with the outcome. I really was. But I lost money that day. But hey-ho.
Well, did you take lots of before and after photos?
I think I did, actually. I really did. And I always try and take a lot of, not a lot of before photos. On certain cars which are really grimy, I'll take a lot of interior shots and maybe outside shots. But yeah, I mean, I've done some pretty bad cars, man. I've done a farmer's car with maggots under the back seat and things like that. Exactly. Yeah, trust me. I mean, that was a 3-day job. That was, Adam, honestly. Wow. That was not a nice car.
I think I've only ever had one car like that.
Peugeot 308, and it had been on a farm all its life, and he swapped it in, and I'd guarantee the next car he bought was going to be the same within 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
the reason I was saying about the before and after, you were saying you lost money there, but if you've got that kind of to put on your social media.
Oh yeah, it brings other customers in. Yeah,
absolutely. 100%. And if you want to get a good impact, interior before and afters are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, good shots.
But on that quote, on that car, I lost money that day on that vehicle. Do you know what I mean, Adam?
Yeah.
Because obviously the time I put into it, and obviously the amount of time it took me to get it back to how it should be. Yeah. From the very first initial photos, I would have been happy. But obviously she hadn't cleaned it for X amount of months. I ain't joking. Unbelievable. I opened the door and I could have just, my heart sank. It was one of them. It's going to be a bad day today. You know what I mean?
So when you say you like them really mucky.
Oh yeah, but not that bad. I mean,
but you don't like them that mucky.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't mind. Like I said, I will clean anything. I don't mind. I will clean anything.
Have you seen that car since?
I haven't actually, and I'm dreading the phone call. I'll be honest with you, Adam, because she probably hasn't cleaned it since either.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's going to be coming back to you.
You know that.
It's going to come back. Yeah, that's going to come back. She's going to be like, Stevo's got to do this. He transformed this last time, and I know he likes a mucky interior, and he's going to do it again.
And he did it for this price as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, great. No, please go. I'm going to change addresses and think I'll just move.
Yeah, she's going to be like, I know it might only be another £10 more, but he's such a nice man. He'll do it for me.
Of course he will, yeah. He'll spend all day on this for, silly money. Yeah. But no, it was a bit of a rough car, put it that way. But yeah, like I said, it's like I said, it's always nice to see the customer's face when they turn up and see that, like, change in that vehicle.
That transformation, isn't it? Yeah, it's just
it is indeed. It is.
I mean, you do get it. I mean, I've had it with customers before and you almost think, Christ, I've just spent, I don't know how many hours or days doing this car, and they walk up and they're like, thanks, do you want me to pay you?
Yeah,
is that it?
I know.
And it's like, and to them, it's just a car.
That's
it's
it, you see. To some people, it is. And I think some people that do treat a vehicle that badly, it is just a car sometimes.
A car,
it's just a way to get around.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've got guys we've done in the past, when we used to do mobile work that were farmers. And they're in and out of the vehicles, they're in the ploughed fields, and it's obviously, you're talking Land Rovers and stuff like that. And I mean, they're getting these cars, they're buying them brand spanking new, and they're absolutely trashing them inside, but they still absolutely love those cars, and they used to get them valeted every single month to try to keep that car in as best condition as they possibly could. And these were farmers, which normally you see most farmers' vehicles, and they are absolutely running to the ground. But these guys, used to keep their cars in tip-top condition, and it's, I think I've only ever had one farmer's vehicle where I literally picked up, used for hunting and stuff like that, and picked up the back seat, and it was just riddled with maggots, and it was like,
that's what this was. I did exactly the same vehicle.
And it was just absolutely gross. I mean, it was one of those points where I literally almost nearly threw up with these maggots were just crawling under the seat. How the guy didn't know, I don't know. I mean, Christ alive, it was just inundated with maggots. And they were, but then when you started taking the carpet out, they were everywhere in the car. Absolutely everywhere.
I've done exactly the same with the farmer's Peugeot 308. I took the front mats out, the rubber mats out the front, and there was that much mud underneath the mats. It left an imprint of the mats underneath the mud.
Bloody hell.
I had to use a wire brush to break the mud up. It was that bad.
Good Lord.
Terrible car. Not good.
That's bad. So, talking about cars then, do you have a dream car that you've always wanted to own, or a dream car that you've always wanted to work on, detail, valid, or whatever? Not another mucky one, though.
No, I suppose a dream car I'd like to own would obviously be, there's two of them really. I think a Dodge Charger, which we mentioned earlier. I think I'd always look to own a Dodge Charger, and I think I'd like to own a Lotus Carlton as well. I really do have a soft spot for a Lotus Carlton, I think.
I was going to say, not many of those Lotus Carltons around, to be fair.
Absolutely stunning vehicles, and back in the day, they was a weapon. They was a beautiful, beautiful car.
Yeah, they certainly were a weapon in the day, that's for sure. Not many of them out now, though.
No, definitely not. But obviously, the prices are creeping up to the ones that are still available.
Up. Yeah,
but they're such a beautiful car. It's just like I said, back in the day, that was a game changer. It was a lovely car.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's
your favourite car, Adam?
I couldn't tell you. The list is too big.
Really? Yeah, that's a problem. You see, there's so many cars out there as boys would love. You know what I mean? And toys get expensive.
Oh, they do, don't they? Just.
I'd like to, for like one lottery, I'd have probably a 2-bedroom bungalow, and then a garage that I couldn't see the bottom of.
Yeah, 40 cars in it.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be more like a museum than anything.
Yeah, a Ferrari F40 would have to be in there as well. I think that's one of my all-time favourites. A Ferrari F40, I think. There was just something about it.
Original.
Yeah, oh, definitely, 100% original. I think, I love cars that are, like you say, original, standard, not been messed with. And I think there's a lot more respect out there for a vehicle that still looks as it come out of the showroom or as it rolled off the track, rather than somebody that's done this to it and that to it. And I just like it as it should be. As it should be.
Yeah.
So it's really funny because I was looking at a 1931 Ford at the weekend, and I'm stood there thinking, box of grinding discs, I can make that look good.
There's a place in hell for you.
I can't leave anything alone. That's the problem.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
See, there's loads of cars out there that you just got to leave standard because they look better standard.
See, they're the ones that I want to touch the most.
Really?
Like the ones where people go, you couldn't do that.
No, Lancia Integrales, you see, that's another one of my favourites, and a Lancia Stratus, things like that. You got to look at them cars and appreciate them for what they are, really.
Yeah, I know what you are saying, and certain stuff. I mean, going back to your F40, it's £1 million car now.
Yeah, silly money.
It takes something to start messing with £1 million car.
It does indeed. It does.
What's the future then for the Shine Shop?
Obviously bigger and better. I'd like to see like some kind of, and obviously the future for valeting as well, and obviously detailing. There's a lot of things out there for girls. Like as in they can do apprenticeships for nails and beauty and things like this. And I'd like to see something like aimed at that for the young lads of today, that are coming up in the world and are showing a general interest, And I'm not just saying, take me to one side and show me how to use a machine polisher, but I'm talking like, and maybe a schooling for it as well, to teach people how to do it on the right basis. Do you know what I mean, Adam? And to start them off without any sort of bad habits that can easily get into and things like that. So I think, some kind of like an apprenticeship for young student lads. Or they haven't got to be student lads. Obviously, people who just want to learn and and gain that knowledge. They might even not want to do it as a business. Just maybe want to look after their own car properly now, because it does take off. It has taken off very big in the last 5-10 years. Looking after your own vehicle, to a proper standard. And you'll see people putting up on certain sites. Oh, look at the swirl marks on this, and everybody knows what swirl marks are now. You can walk through a main dealers now and see marks in showrooms. And to be honest with you, and it's getting to the stage where I think that main dealers as well should be sort of employing or maybe looking after their cars a little bit better, because you're not talking $2 or $3 grand now for a car. You're talking a lot of money.
Mega money, isn't it?
That is silly money as an investment. Do you know what I mean? So why not look after your investment to the best of your ability? You look after your house to the best of your ability, and your car is your next biggest investment. So I presume, something like not a detailing college or a school, or maybe a course that could go on, that you could gain qualifications to a certain degree, or or carry on through if you needed to. I think that would be great for people, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know schools have kind of taken. I had this conversation with my nephew, and I was quite shocked by how much the school's doing since the time I left, which was, he goes to the same school I did, but we're talking just off the top of my head, I think it's about 17 years ago I left. But they are now doing stuff like mechanics and stuff like in the actual classroom. And I think that was absolutely brilliant, because there was none of that when I was at school.
No,
but they're not doing anything for the paint at all.
Exactly.
And not even just
underneath of the car. Yeah. You're looking at the mechanics of the car, but you're not looking at the aesthetics of the car.
Yeah.
And like obviously you could always broaden them courses to obviously like leather repair and things like that, and smart repairs, even smart repairs on seats and carpets and things like that. It's just, I think it's a nice couple of feathers to have under your hat. I think it would be.
Yeah. Obviously, talking about feathers under your hat and talking about that, would you sort of look at adding any additional services to the business other than just the sort of valeting? Would you look at like PDR, like dent removal or chip repairs or leather repairs or anything like that, or windscreen repairs? Is that something that you would look at, or even alloy wheels?
I think sometimes people can start off valeting and detailing or whatever you want to call it in that respect, and I think they can sort of get asked by certain members of the public, and then they think, yeah, that's a great idea, that is, and then you get sidetracked from what you actually really started doing. Do you know what I mean, Richard? So you started off in valeting, and that's your passion, and that's what got you into this job, and that's what makes you love this work. And then obviously it's sort of, and then it stops becoming a passion, and then it becomes a job. And obviously if you start to do wheel repairs and dents and this and this, then it takes you away from what you started doing originally. So I think if you're good at what you do, stick at it. And there's other people out there that can do that, and that's their job. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to learn your side of the things. I really would. I would love to learn to be able to repair leather to a certain standard. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. I would love to learn that. I really would. But like, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, if somebody says to me, I need this doing, I'll be like, well, that needs a specialist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, we've got an open day coming up in June. I can't remember the exact date now, but I'll get you the date. I think it's 12th of June, something like that. So you can come on that open day and learn about the leather repairs. So I mean, it's something I can get you the link for, and you can sort of, if you wanted to come, it's in Hull. Adam, I'm hoping will be there with us. If not, then he's not. But it'd be really good. And you can sort of learn, some sort of basics to do with the leather side of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say. I mean, you can clean it and you can condition it, but it's a different ball game. Having to repair it and recolor it or touch it or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think if you're good at something, stick to it. That's a bit like saying to Mozart, you're really good at this music, but can you do this painting for me as well?
Yeah.
I ain't really keen on painting. Do you know what I mean? But I'd rather do the music. So just stick. I think sometimes you just stick to what you're good at, and if you're good at what you do, then you'll always be happy. I think you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Would you more likely than contract people in to do other work, like leather repair, just for example?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would do that. And unless I gained real knowledge, and obviously went on, and got so many courses under my belt that I felt that I didn't need to do that, Adam, then I would always send that to, somebody that I trusted. You know what I mean? I wouldn't send them to any old blah, blah, blah. I would send them to somebody that was trusted. Because obviously I'm sending that to that customer, and obviously that, well, you sent me there, and it didn't do a good job, to be fair. But yeah, I would, until I got to a certain degree of obviously learning that and being proficient in that, I think I would always leave that to the professionals type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, running a business, you have to be that multi-hat kind of person. And then
you do.
You're adding another bit, and then I'm going to do tint next.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do PPF. Yeah. You're only one person. And it comes to that point where you can actually make more money just by giving it to somebody else working for you or contracted to you and taking a cut. So it's probably quite a clever way of thinking about things.
Yeah, it is, to be honest. It's like I said, you can tie yourself up in trying to do everything and like being a jack of all trades and good at none. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, but like, it's like, just if you're good at something, stick to it. If you're good at paint correction, just keep doing paint correction. If a panel needs painting, you're not going to paint it, or you're going to send it to a professional to paint it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, it is one of them, and we'd all like to do it. We'd all like to be able to say, well, yeah, I can do that dent for you, or I can take all these scratches out for you, or I can repair your bumper for you. But it's time as well. It's time, and it's also knowledge. Because the people that have been doing this for years haven't gained knowledge over weeks. It's years. Like Richard, he didn't get his knowledge over, weeks. It's become years, and that's what you pay. You pay for knowledge, and experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things. We only had a podcast yesterday with the Dent guys. No, it's DENT, the Dent guys from Beverley. And like I was saying to Martin, that I tried to get into dent repairs many, many years ago, invested hundreds of pounds in a kit, and it actually sits out there in my garage with its tutorial video. I tried it once, made the dent worse, gave it up. It's not for me. And I just didn't ever go there again. And I just get people in to do it, because while they're doing that, and I watch them do it, and it's like, there's this, like, using these tools, it's almost like bloody Harry Potter with his magic wand, and all of a sudden it's gone. And how the hell did you do that? And they're like, oh, that was a hard one. Really?
Exactly.
Okay, that was hard. And I'm like, bloody hell, it's just like click a finger and the whole dent's gone. It's like, that is amazing. But they were talking about some really cool stuff on there, which we're going to do another podcast with Martin, probably at a later date, about
fantastic.
Pulling, like, using heat to get dents out, where they can actually shrink the panel, believe it or not, which is quite interesting. Yeah, quite interesting.
You can also expand the panel with heat as well, can't you? So that's a bit of a tricky one, to be fair. This is what I'm saying, when you say you leave it to the expert.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what, because we got on the subject with him with electric vehicles, obviously, because he was saying that obviously you've got 6,000 volts going through that vehicle, and you're sticking prongs on the inside of that car, and you've only got to go like past the capacitor and open it up slightly, and wallop, you're through the wall and you're dead.
Exactly.
So and it's obviously.
Can I ask Adam a question as well, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go for it.
Adam, obviously, when you're doing paint corrections and stuff, what is your go-to for, like, sort of bird etchings? Because I use certain methods, and people are like, oh, that doesn't work, and it does work, and it does work a fair few times that I have tried it, and then other people are quite skeptical about using that, you see. So I mean, I use a heat gun. I mean, that is my first go-to. With obviously bird etchings, I'll use a heat gun first, because it's no contact, and obviously I'll heat the area up, and if it dissipates, and it doesn't leave any marks or anything like that. But obviously, if that doesn't work, then I will break out the compounds and the pads. Do you know what I mean? But my first go-to would always be a heat gun.
Well, you've just lent me something there.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm going to give that a go now. No, that's awesome.
So am I.
No, that's absolutely brilliant. And I imagine a lot of the listeners would have not known that. So just a heat gun, heat the area up. Obviously, be careful, not too hot.
Basically, just keep the heat gunners moving, obviously, over the spot. I mean, I'm not saying it's 100% works every time on every bird etching. I'm not saying that. But obviously, I've got videos in my library that I can send to you. That's not a problem. But obviously, if it doesn't work, then I will break out the compounds and the pads. And obviously, if it doesn't, then obviously you're going to get to wet sanding. But that is my first go-to, because obviously it's contactless.
Yeah, no, fantastic. But I am, like you've just said, I'll look at it, judge if it needs sanded first, or if we can get out the polisher. But I'm going to try that next time. I'm dying.
Cool method.
Yeah, I'm dying for a bird etching now.
Well, the thing, but like I said, it's like, I mean, I've been doing it for years, and some people have been doing it for longer than me that obviously haven't heard of that. But then they've heard of it, and they're like, I've never thought of that. And it's like, but it's always nice to learn off other people as well. Do you know what I mean? It's always nice to learn and not teach other people, but share your knowledge with other people, because nobody woke up one morning and knew everything about being valeting or detailing or whatever else. We all make mistakes, and we all learn off other people. That's what being human's all about.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, well, I've learned something today using the heat gun. I mean, wow, what a great idea! And I'm like Adam. I can't wait for a bird to shit on my car, putting it bluntly, because I want to try it.
In all fairness, Richard, if you've got birds in your garage, you need to get the roof sorted.
Yeah, no, luckily I haven't. It's just when we're. I mean, obviously the other three cars are sat outside, and obviously living literally 100 yards from the seafront, you can imagine what sort of size of birds we have here, and bloody seagulls walking all over them and everything else.
Pterodactyls.
They are. Some of them look like pterodactyls. They make you bloody frightened.
But you also do know why birds poo on your car as well, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
Well, birds usually poo over water.
And
obviously, there you go.
The reflection. Yeah.
If they poo on your car, it's actually a compliment, because your car's nice and shiny.
I've got a funny one for bird droppings today. We had Polestar in, literally just washed it, dried it. We were shuffling cars around, and what happened? Right down the bonnet.
Right.
Yeah. I'll take it as a compliment now, though. So
exactly, that's what you got to say. It's just a compliment. It doesn't look very complimentary, I'll be honest with you, but yeah, it's just a compliment.
No, it didn't feel like it either.
No,
but no,
definitely not.
But no, it's always nice to learn from other people, isn't it? Like I said, it's one of them, and I've learned things from interiors as well that that I've shared with other people, and like a lot of people, it's difficult to get sand out of a carpet, and that's a lot of people's bane of their life to get sand out of a carpet. But once you know there's an easier method, it doesn't seem so difficult.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And and that's obviously one of the reasons why we started this, Adam and I started this podcast, obviously totally detailed, because that's obviously, there's a clue in the name of what it all is. It's everybody, it's not, we don't believe in, and that's what we're not here for. We're not here to self-promote or anything like that. We're here to learn. And that one thing that you've said today with the heat gun, with the bird lime, as you say, it doesn't always work every single time. It's certainly, I'm 53, and you've taught me something today, and I've been doing detailing since I was 13, 14 years old. And it's wow, never ever knew that. I use a heat gun for many things, but I just never ever knew that was that. So today I have learned something quite amazing, which I'm going to try. And that's what the podcast is all about. It's helping people, and it's newbies, helping them, helping experienced people. You've just helped me. You've just helped Adam, and probably, hopefully, hundreds or thousands of other listeners out there that eventually download and listen to the podcast.
Well, that's great then. That's even if it helps one person,
exactly. Well, you've helped two here straight away.
Well, exactly. Even if it just helps another person that's just listening to this podcast and thinks, what, I've had that bird etching on my car for a while. I'm going to try that, and it works. Yeah. And I've heard people use hair dryers before as well, but a hair dryer doesn't seem to get hot enough for me, you see. So obviously with the different heat settings,
not quite hot enough. Yeah,
you can control it a little bit better for myself.
Yeah. And obviously with the heat gun, it's just obviously telling people to be cautious, isn't it? You don't want to just sit there with the heat gun straight on it.
Keep it
it's
moving.
Like you say, moving it around.
Keep it moving around
the clear coat,
around the bird etchings, and it'll just heat the clear coat up, and you'll see it disappear before your eyes. And it is actually very just like magic, as if it was never there to be. Yeah. And until you've done it yourself, you'll be like, wow. But I will send you some videos on inbox, Richard, and you can obviously have a look at them.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see them. Yeah,
no problem. No problem. And if Adam wants to do that as well,
we're doing but we're getting a website going for Totally Detailed anyway. So that's something that we could put on there when we eventually get all the podcasts on the website as well and get it sorted out. Obviously, we're doing this, as you can tell, we started at 7:30 tonight, and we're now nearly 9 o'clock. So obviously, we were talking at the beginning of the podcast about, are you ever not at work? So we're really at work, but this is enjoyment as well. So it's the website will get there eventually, and it's something to put that video on there for people to learn from. Is absolutely fantastic to have that to put on the website. It'd be an honour to have it on there, to be fair. It'd be great to have it on there to showcase that to people.
No problem. That, no problem at all. Like I said, if it helps other people learn, no problem. It's great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. It's been a great podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed it, Steve. It's been wonderful talking to you, I must admit, and I'm sure Adam would agree as well. It's been very interesting, talking to you today as well. Anyway, definitely.
It's been great to talk to you both, gentlemen, to be honest with you. It's obviously the first time I've ever done the podcast, and it's really great. It's nice to just sit here and just chat. It's really great.
Well, that's it. You just talk like you're talking to your mates on the phone, don't you? So it's we're just having a good old waffle and learning some things, and that's about what it's about.
But it's about something we all have a common interest in, so it's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So it's been wonderful. Thank you very much from me, Richard, at Totally Detailed, and thank you very much from him, Adam, my co-host, and thank you very much, Steve. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.